There are moments in life when everything around us feels uncertain. We look at our plans, our dreams, and the doors we thought would open, and suddenly they're shut tight. It's easy to feel like we've lost control, like people or circumstances are holding the key to our future. But the truth is, God is the one who controls every door in your life. He is the doorkeeper, and nothing happens without His permission. You don't have to worry about who likes you, who left you out, or who walked away. When God decides to open a door, no one, not even the strongest opposition, can keep it closed. There are times when we see others walking through opportunities that we've prayed for, and we wonder why our own doors seem locked. We begin to question our worth, thinking maybe we weren't good enough or didn't do enough. But God's timing is never random. He opens doors at the right moment, not when we're ready, but when everything around us aligns perfectly with His plan. What may look like a delay to you is actually divine arrangement. God knows exactly when to release what belongs to you, and no one can take what He has ordained for your life. Sometimes you might feel frustrated because the doors you thought would lead to your future didn't open the way you expected. You tried, you prayed, you worked hard, yet nothing moved. But God sees what you can't see. He knows what's behind those doors, and sometimes He keeps them closed to protect you from unnecessary pain or from something that would have led you off course. What looks like rejection is often God's redirection. When you trust that He is in control, you can rest even when nothing makes sense. There are times in life when doors close so suddenly that it feels like the ground has been pulled from beneath your feet. You thought that tawari consciousness, unconscionship would last forever. You believed that job was the breakthrough you had been waiting for, or that opportunity was the one that would finally change everything. But then, without warning, the door slammed shut. It's in those moments that you have to remember that God never closes a door to harm you. He closes it to protect you. He sees what's ahead, and when He shuts something down, it's because He knows that staying there would have cost you more than you could afford to lose. Many people live in regret, wondering what went wrong, questioning every move they made. But sometimes it's not about what you did wrong. It's about what God is doing right. He knows the people who would have betrayed you, the opportunities that would have turned toxic, the situations that looked appealing but would have drained your peace. When you trust Him, you begin to understand that His no is as much a blessing as His yes. Every closed door carries divine wisdom behind it. And though it might hurt in the moment, it's part of His greater protection over your life. You see, we often chase what looks good, but God is guiding us toward what's best. We think we know what we need, but God knows what will last. You might have been praying for something that looked perfect, there are seasons in life where you find yourself in between doors. One door has closed, but the next one hasn't opened yet. It's that in between place where nothing seems to be happening, where you feel stuck and forgotten. You're praying, you're believing, but all you hear is silence. That hallway season can be the hardest place to stand because you can't see what's next. But that's exactly where God does his deepest work. The hallway is not punishment, it's preparation. It's the place where your faith grows stronger, your patience deepens, and your heart is shaped for the door that's coming. In the hallway, God teaches you how to trust him without proof. He removes the things that once made you feel secure so that your confidence shifts from people and outcomes to his presence alone. This waiting space is where character is built, where your roots go deep, and where God strengthens you for what he's about to release. What feels like delay is really development. You may not see it now, but God is preparing you to handle the weight of the blessings that are on the other side of that door. Sometimes you may feel like nothing is moving. You're doing everything right, staying faithful, praying, showing up, but there's still no sign of progress. Don't let the stillness fool you. Behind the scenes, God is aligning the right people, timing, and circumstances. He's arranging everything in a way that when the door opens, you won't have to struggle to walk through it. The hallway might feel quiet, but heaven is busy working on your behalf. When you're in that waiting space, it's easy to get discouraged. The temptation is to compare yourself with others who seem to be walking through open doors while you're still waiting in line. But your door is not their door. Your timing is not their timing. What's meant for you has a divine schedule that can't be delayed or denied. Stay in peace, knowing that your name is already written on the door God designed for you. The hallway season also reveals what's really in your heart. It tests whether you'll stay grateful when nothing seems to change, whether you'll keep praising God even when you can't see results. It's easy to have faith when the doors are swinging open. The real test is whether you can keep believing when they're not. This is where endurance is born, where trust becomes more than a word. It becomes a lifestyle. Every person who's ever walked in divine favor has had to wait. Joseph waited in a prison before stepping into the palace. David waited in the wilderness before sitting on the throne. Even Jesus waited 30 years for 3 years of ministry. Waiting doesn't mean you're behind. It means God is preparing something significant. He's refining you so that when the right door opens, you'll be ready to sustain it. Sometimes God uses the hallway to separate you from things that can't go with you. There are relationships, habits, or mindsets that served a purpose in the last season, but can't follow you into the next one. The hallway is where God prunes and purifies so that when the new door opens, you're lighter, wiser, and more focused. It's his way of clearing your path for what's ahead. You might not see progress right now, but don't mistake silence for absence. God hasn't forgotten you. Just because the door hasn't opened doesn't mean he's not working. Every prayer, every tear, every act of faith is preparing the ground for your next breakthrough. What you learn in the hallway becomes the strength you'll need when the door opens. The patience you build now will sustain you when blessings come faster than you can handle. The faith you grow in this quiet place will carry you through louder seasons. So when you find yourself in that waiting place, hold your head high. You're not stuck. You're being shaped. You're not forgotten. You're being formed. God is still in control, and the hallway you're walking through today is leading directly to the door that will define your tomorrow. When God has prepared the right door for you, you won't have to force it open. You won't have to manipulate situations, convince people, or exhaust yourself trying to make it happen. The right door opens with ease because it carries divine timing. God's favor makes the impossible look effortless. What others have to struggle years for, God can release in a single moment. When His hand is on your life, things that once felt heavy begin to flow naturally. You'll know it's the right door because peace will accompany it. There's a difference between striving in your own strength and walking in divine alignment. When you're trying to make something happen that God hasn't blessed, it will always feel frustrating and draining. But when God breathes on a situation, the process may still require patience, but it won't require pressure. His favor removes friction. You won't have to chase what's meant for you. It will find you when the time is right. Sometimes we think success means constant activity, knocking on every door, chasing every opportunity. But true faith knows when to rest. It knows when to wait for the right door, instead of trying to break through the wrong one. God's favor doesn't require panic. It requires patience. What He opens, no one can close. And what He closes, no one can open. Your only job is to stay faithful where you are and let Him handle what's beyond your reach. When God's timing meets your preparation, everything comes together perfectly. The doors that seemed locked for years suddenly swing wide open. People who once ignored you will suddenly notice you. Opportunities that were out of reach will start calling your name. You won't have to fight for a seat at the table. God will reserve one for you. And when it happens, you'll realize that all those closed doors were simply leading you to this one. The right door will not require you to compromise who you are. It will not demand that you lower your standards or sacrifice your peace. It will honor your values, your faith, and your purpose. When God opens the door, it will fit your spirit as perfectly as it fits your calling. You'll know it's from Him because it won't just bring success, it will bring stability. The blessing of the Lord adds no sorrow with it. It comes wrapped in peace, not pressure. Many times, before God opens the right door, He will allow wrong ones to tempt you. These doors might look shiny on the outside, but they lead to frustration. They appear faster, easier, more glamorous, but they don't carry grace. That's why discernment is so important. Just because something looks open doesn't mean it's meant for you. Some doors open to distract you from the one God prepared to deliver you. You have to trust His timing enough to say no to what's available so you can say yes to what's divine. When God is behind your opportunity, it will come with confirmation, not confusion. You won't have to beg anyone to support you or explain why you deserve it. God will put your name in the hearts of the right people. He'll cause resources, connections, and help to show up at exactly the right time. His fingerprints will be all over it, and you'll know that it was His hand that opened the way, not your effort alone. The beauty of walking through a God-ordained door is that it doesn't just elevate you, it also blesses others. When you walk through the right door, your obedience becomes a testimony. People watching your journey will see that it wasn't your hustle, but your faith that carried you there. Your life becomes evidence that favor is real and that trusting God's timing always pays off. You may have thought that you missed your moment, but never runs out of doors. He always has another one prepared, one that will open with grace and right alignment. It might not happen the way you imagine, but when it does, it will make sense why the other doors didn't work. His plan is not delayed, it's perfectly designed. So don't waste your energy trying to force what isn't meant for you. Keep your heart at peace and your spirit ready. When God opens the right door, you won't have to push. It will swing wide open. The opportunity will meet you with ease. The timing will be right, and everything will unfold in a way that only God could orchestrate. Faith is not proven in moments of victory, but in moments of waiting. It's easy to trust God when everything is working out, but true faith is built when nothing seems to move. There are times when you'll stand in front of a closed door praying, hoping, believing, and it still won't open. That's when your faith has to speak louder than your frustration. That's when you remind yourself that God's silence is not His absence. You may not see the door moving, but that doesn't mean He's not working behind it. Every time you choose to believe, even when you don't see results, you are exercising spiritual strength. Faith is like a muscle. It grows when it's tested. Every unanswered prayer, every delay, every not yet from God is a chance to strengthen your trust in Him. You might not understand the reason for the waiting, but every day you keep believing is another day you prove to heaven that you're ready for what's ahead. There are people who gave up too soon. They stopped praying, stopped believing, stopped expecting, right when their door was about to open. Don't let that be you. The enemy's goal is to tire you out in the waiting so that you walk away just before the breakthrough. But if you can stay faithful, even when you feel forgotten, you'll find that your persistence will pay off. God always rewards endurance. He honors those who trust Him, even when they can't trace Him. Sometimes, while you're waiting, God will allow smaller doors to open to test your obedience. These opportunities may look good, but they're not always God. They come to see if you'll settle for convenience instead of waiting for covenant. The door God has for you may take longer to open, but it will be worth every moment of waiting. Patience isn't a punishment, it's proof that your faith has matured. The waiting season is often where God separates the shallow faith from the strong. Anyone can believe for a moment, but it takes maturity to believe for months or even years without losing hope. When you stay faithful in the unseen, you're building the kind of endurance that carries you through any storm. You're proving that your trust isn't based on circumstances, but on the unshakable character of God. There will be days when doubt whispers that nothing will ever change. You'll see others getting their blessings, their breakthroughs, their open doors, and wonder if God has skipped over you. But faith says, my time is coming. Faith says, what God started in me, He will finish. Faith says, it may not happen today, but that doesn't mean it won't happen. That's the kind of belief that moves heaven. When you keep walking in faith, even without evidence, you send a message to every obstacle that your hope is unbreakable. The world teaches you to give up when it's hard, but faith teaches you to stand when everything shakes. It teaches you to look beyond the locked door and trust the one who holds the keys. Every step you take in faith draws you closer to the moment when everything changes. Sometimes God delays the door to align your heart with His purpose. He wants your motives purified, your vision clear, and your spirit strong enough to handle what's coming. If He opened the door too soon, you might mistake the blessing for the source. That's why He makes you wait until you're ready to carry the promise with humility and gratitude. Every season of waiting refines your heart so that when the door opens, you walk through it with grace, not pride. The greatest miracles often come after the longest waits. That's why you can't quit now. You've already come too far to stop believing. Every tear you've cried, every prayer you've whispered, every night you've spent wondering when, it's all part of the preparation. God hasn't forgotten a single detail. The door may still be closed, but every moment of faith you've shown is unlocking it from the inside. Keep believing, keep walking, and keep expecting. The key is faith, and as long as you hold on to it, no closed door can stay shut forever. What God has written for your life cannot be erased by time, people, or circumstances. The waiting may test you, but it will also transform you. When the right door opens, you'll realize that every moment you spent believing in silence was building the strength you needed to walk boldly into your destiny.